For those of you who don't know, my name is Jamin Melanson. I used to pastor over at Fort Fairfield Wesleyan Church for 3 years. And now I am in Amherst with someone some of you might know called Evan and Heidi. You probably remember Heidi more than you remember Evan. They both send their greetings, as does my wife, Naomi. She sends her greetings today, too. Just a little update on what's going on. First, I want to say thank you so much for all your help last year. It was greatly appreciated, financially and your prayer support on the mission trip. It was a great time, as you can see with some of the pictures. I'll refer back to them as I continue speaking today. But I just wanted to say thank you from me and my wife for all your help last year. It was greatly appreciated, and we were really touched by our time here. Little update in our life. We were living in Truro for the time after we left Fort. In probably about February, Evan calls me up, and he goes, "So I want you to come work for me." And I said, "Evan, first of all, I'll come work with you, not for you. Secondly, you can't pay me, so what am I supposed to do?" He's like, "Oh, I'll figure something out." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So anyways, a couple months go by, and they give birth to little John, and he called me up, and he said, "Can you preach this Sunday?" So John was born on Friday, and he asked me to preach on Sunday, and he goes, "Well, I could preach if I really had to." I'm like, "Of course you could, Evan. Like, spend some time with your wife and kids. I'll come preach. Don't have to worry about that." He's like, "Okay, good, because this is all part of my master plan to get you here." So I came and preached that Sunday, and some things started rolling. And again, he called me up in May. He's like, "I want you to come work with me." I said, "Evan, you still can't pay me. I need to earn some money." He's like, "Don't worry, I'll get it figured out." So in Truro, we were going to be paying about $450 a month. We were staying with Naomi's parents, and plus we had a storage unit, so we were going to be paying for that and paying rent to her parents. So he's like, "How much you pay in Truro?" I said, "Well, we'll be paying about $450. He's like, "Well, what if I could get you a place in Amherst for less than that?" I said, "Evan, I don't want to be staying at the dump. You got to give me a better place to live than that." He's like, "Don't worry, I got it figured out." So in Amherst, they bought the Catholic church 10 years ago. And with that, they got the old rectory house next door. Now, all it's been used for since Evan was there as his church office in one little room in the entire building. So they converted 2/3 of the building into an apartment and left 1/3 for the church. And they charge us $375 a month for rent. And that's all we have to pay. He's like, "So what do you say now?" I'm like, "Well, I guess I can't say no because you'll just keep hounding me until I say yes." So we moved to Amherst back in August, and it has been an awesome time working with Evan and Heidi there. We appreciate them. We work well together. We just love being there and working with them and using our gifts in regards to that. So just wanted to give you a little update. We also got a new dog who's about 10 months old, and she drives us absolutely bonkers. But you know what they say, you got to love them most of the time. She loves Evan. She goes into Evan's office and just bugs the crap out of him, and it's great. I love watching it happen because it makes him so uptight. But she tries to jump on his desk and lick everything and take all of his stuff. He's like, "Stop it, stop it." I'm like, "She just loves you, Evan." He's like, "I don't want her to love me." I'm like, "Well, I do." So anyways, it's fun. It's fun. But wanted to give you guys a little update on what's going on with us. And like Reg said, I am going on another mission trip this year with Dad. He has been teaching at the Christian school in Truro. And every year the grade 11 and 12 is going, or every other year the grade 11 and 12 is going on a mission trip. So this year Dad's in charge of their mission trip, and they're going to Jamaica. Now, when he was first organizing the team, he realized there was 4 women going, well, three girls in grade 11 and 12, and then their chaperone, and just him and a grade 11 boy. And he's like, "Okay, we're going into a different country, which can be dangerous, and it's just really me to watch out for the entire team." So he asked the school if I could come along, plus a couple of others, just to kind of add that extra safety net. So that's why I'm going. I'm going for the muscle, apparently. That's what I'm going for. And we'll be going from March 6th to 19th. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news or not, but just the other day, in the area where our plane will be landing, the government has been warning people to be careful because there's been some gang wars going on. Now, really, if you know anything about Jamaica, this is nothing new. But it's just the government's finally had enough of it, and they're wanting to put a stop to it. So we've had some parents already contacting us, be like, is this where you're bringing our children into this war zone? I'm like, well, yes, but it's nothing new. Like, it's something that has been going on. And in reality, that's why we're going. We're going to tell these people about Jesus. So it doesn't have to be a war zone. So these people can know that there is another way, that there is hope, that there is life after death, and to share the gospel with them. That's why we're going. Matthew 12, which is the kind of our key verse for the mission trip, Matthew 12:21. I'm going to start in verse 18, though. It says, "Look at my servant, whom I have chosen. He is my beloved who pleases me. I will put my spirit upon him, and he will proclaim justice to the nations. He will not fight or shout or raise his voice in public. He will not crush the weakest reed or put out a flickering candle. Finally, he will cause justice to be victorious, and his name will be the hope of all the world," or his name will be the hope of all the nations. And that's why we're going. We're going to tell people about Jesus. Last year when we went, we didn't really have a schedule of what we were doing. We kind of just went, and they had us painting some things around the college down there. And for those of you who don't know, it's actually a Wesleyan college that we go to when we're down there. There's a big Wesleyan presence in the Caribbean islands, and this is their college where they train people, kind of like Kingswood for the Maritimes. This is their college where they train people to go out to the Caribbean to preach the gospel and share the good news of Jesus Christ. So that's where we were staying. We were painting some things there, which is always fun, painting. And but there was something else we wanted to do. We didn't just want to paint. I mean, anyone can paint. We wanted to do something, change some people's lives. But we didn't really know what we were going to do. So we went out one day. We went out driving. And for those of you who don't know my father, if you go driving and have no destination in mind, you need to be praying and fasting because you never know where you're going to end up. So he just went out, and we're driving. And we're driving around, and, oh, this looks like a good road. Let's go down here. We don't know where we're going at all. We don't know who's here or what's there or what they're going to think of these people. I mean, it's a bunch of white people in this big white van coming down the road. They don't know what's going on. So we drive down this road, and basically we just start talking to people. Just go door to door. Say, who we are, what's going on, how can we help you? And we kind of just adopted this little village, just on this little road. This little village had tons of kids. You saw in the picture all those kids. We just went there, and they flocked. It was like the Pied Piper. You see the white van coming. Everyone came out and started running towards us. And we brought them sandwiches. We shared the gospel with them. Dad sang some songs with them. We even bought a bike for one of them because he had lost his job and had no way to travel. And in Jamaica, bikes are the cheapest way to travel. So he had no way to get to his job. So we went and we bought a bike for him so that he could have a way to go. And really, it was like you gave him $1 million. He just started crying because he had never seen such generosity given. He didn't understand it. And that opened up the door for us to say we are doing this in the name of Jesus Christ, who loves you, who wants what's best for you. So we're hoping this year when we go back, we're going to go back to that little village to see how things have changed. One little part that touched my heart when I was there was this little girl, Yamisha. Naomi made that PowerPoint, by the way. That was not me. She's good at that type of stuff. I don't have the patience to do all those words and everything else. I just would have threw in pictures and been like, yeah, that's great, let's go, type of thing. But she spent probably a week doing that. So she wrote something. It was a little long, so you may have missed it. But there was this little girl named Yamisha. And it was the first day we were there, and Dad took them all in the bus and driving around. And they're singing, "The wheels on the bus go round and round," with Dad singing in the front. Like, I've never seen him act like this. So it was kind of cool for me to see too. But he was driving around, and then all the kids got out except for this one girl. She's probably 8 years old. So I get in, and I come in. I'm like, it's time to get out. We have to go back home. She's like, no. With that little head swag. I'm like, what do you mean, no? Like, we have to go. No, you don't. I'm like, well, yeah, we do. She's like, I'll make a deal with you. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's 8 years old and already trying to barter with me. I'm like, okay, what's the deal? She's like, you have to come back tomorrow. I'm like, we have something else going on tomorrow, but we're planning on coming back the next day. No. I'm like, oh my goodness, this little girl will not let me say a word. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a deal with you. I don't know what I was thinking. I said, how about we race? I'll race you, and if I win, you have to get out of the van, and we'll be back on Saturday. And if you win, we'll come back tomorrow. I'm thinking I'm going to beat this little girl. Because, she's in her bare feet. I got shoes on. I should be able to win. She's like, okay. She gets out, and then she tells all the other kids. So it's like I'm racing against 10 little kids. I'm like, this was not part of the agreement. She's like, you still have to win. I'm like, all right. So we raced, and in my head, I won. We needed a photo finish, but we didn't go to that. But anyways, I told her, we'll be back, So we came back again. We brought some juices for the little kids and for people in the town, and we brought some drinks for them. And then we came back again, a third time, and when I was there, God's like, I want you to give something to Yamisha. And some of you may think this was not a gift, but a punishment, but I gave her my Montreal Canadiens hat. So I gave that to her, and she was very thankful for that, and I hope when I go back she still has it. I don't even know if she'll remember me, but I hope that she does. But I just had to obey God that he was wanting me to give away something. I mean, I have all kinds of them. Why do I need that specific? I mean, that was my favorite one because I was wearing it, but I have all kinds of them. Why do I need it? And I gave that to her, and she was it was nice because she was home from school because she was sick. And that was why she was home on the day I gave her the hat, which if she had been at school, I wouldn't have missed her because they do school differently down there. Some go in the morning and some go in the afternoon. That's how they split it up because there's all kinds of kids. But that's probably the most touching part. I mean, you remember going to the beach, you remember all these other things, but that's the thing that makes the difference for me. It's not about, we're going to a place that's sunny in the middle of winter. That's just common knowledge to do that. But we're going there to make a difference in these people's lives. We're going there to tell them about Jesus Christ. We're going there so that when they grow up, Jesus is who they're holding on to. Not anything in their country, not the murders that are going on, not the killing, but they're holding on to Jesus because he is alive. And that makes all the difference in the world to them. One other quick story. We were going out one day, and again, like I said, when Dad's driving, you never know where you're going to end up. So we went out for ice cream first, and I had been painting all day. So I was tired. And Dad's like, let's go for ice cream. I'm like, okay, fine. I can eat ice cream. I have enough energy to do that. So I'm just going out in just regular clothes and flip-flops on, not thinking of anything. And so when we leave the ice cream place, we take a left. But where we were living was right. I'm like, well, where are we going, Dad? I don't know. Just going for a drive. We'll end up wherever we end up. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, who knows where we're going to end up now. So we're driving along, and then he takes this dirt road. So it's bad enough that we don't know where we're going. Now we're going onto this dirt road. It's not even paved anymore, and we're just going off into the Jamaican countryside. And we get to the spot, and we see all these kids playing soccer. And they pull up, and the guy in the front seat that's sitting up there with Dad rolls down the window. He's like, hey, we're the Canadian Soccer Championship team. Can we play with you? I'm like, oh, my goodness. None of us are dressed to play soccer whatsoever. So they're like, yeah, sure. Well, first they didn't know. Like, they looked at us, they're like, you're the Canadian Championship soccer team? Like, really? We don't believe you. I'm like, I wouldn't believe us either. So we get out and we start playing with them, and to make it fair, some of us go on one team, some of us go on the other team, because we probably would have lost 100-0 if it was just us against them. So we went on the other team, and I'm in flip-flops. They're all on their bare feet, and they're still outrunning me in a field where the cows use for their bathroom. So you're not just trying to play soccer, you're trying to avoid running into cow patties. That was fun. But we had a good time. We stayed there for probably an hour or so just playing soccer with them. And this whole little town came out to watch us. Like, they took pictures with their phones, like, here are these white people playing soccer with us. I mean, that's something they'll remember. And we got to share the gospel with them. We got to bring Bibles back to that little town. And I share that because at first I didn't want to do it. At first I was perfectly fine with just going back and resting. And that's what I wanted to do. And I was a little upset that Dad went left and not right. I'm like, man, I don't want to do anything right now. I just want to go home. I just want to relax. And then God's like, I got something for you that I want you to do. I know you don't want to do it right now, but that's okay. I'll give you the energy to do it. So just obey. Just go. And it's those things that make the difference. It's those things that make it right. That you remember. And that you hope that they remember. You hope that you made enough of a difference that they are going to lean into Jesus, that they are going to call upon his name, that these kids are not going to grow up to become part of these gangs that are going to go out killing each other, but they're going to grow up, they're going to be part of the church, they're going to witness to others, they're going to lead others to Christ, so that the whole world will know that Jesus' name is the hope for all nations. That's why we go. That's why we go on these mission trips. And so we're going again. And there are many different ways you can help out. Obviously, prayer. We need prayer. We know that that's what's going to make the biggest difference. And we know that prayer can change people's hearts. Prayer can move mountains. Physical, spiritual, emotional, doesn't matter. Prayer can do that. Prayer is the most important thing. Without prayer, we might as well just be running around doing absolutely nothing. Because if we're not praying, God's not going to change the world. Because it's our prayers, it's our words that show God that we really mean it. That we really want to change. That we really want to see revival. Not just in our country, but in the entire world. And we know that God can make that difference. Secondly, if you have any old luggage that's in good shape, we are taking them down to leave with them so that they have luggage that they can use, they can carry around. So if you have any of that, I know it's we didn't bring it with us today, that's fine. If you live close, you could go grab it and we can take it with us today. If not, if you want, you can bring it here to Reg and we'll figure out a way to get it up to Amherst. That's no big deal. We can deal with that. And the third thing, obviously, is the financial part. You can help me with that. You can come see me. We're not going to take up any offering or anything like that. This is just, if God's laying on your heart to help myself financially, you can come see me after the service. There, if you need to write out a check, you can see on the PowerPoint underneath there, you make it out to Jamaican Missions, and you can get a tax receipt for that because we're a nonprofit organization. So that's really everything I wanted to share with you today. Just a little update on us, how the trip went last year, and again saying thank you for all you guys and for your prayers and for everything else. We greatly appreciate it. And if you have luggage, if you feel God telling you to give financially, come see me after the service, and we can take care of those little details. Thank you again, and I appreciate all of you just being able to come speak today, and I hope that God will continue to bless you here in Perth-Andover, and that God will church to make a difference.